I hate to say this, but this is hypothetical. I'm sorry.
Right.
Hey fans, Matt here. Just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update. We did get access back to our Google account. So thank you, Google. Sorry for all the bad words for last week's episode, but that was pretty hot. So but right after that long, I don't know how long it was, 40-minute rant about Google and how they screwed us, John and I sat down and finally got onto tape, I guess, our talk about a trip that we made that August. If you remember from last week, we lost our notes from when we had talked about this a week or so after we went there. So we just kind of went off the top of our heads. And after recording this and getting access back to our Google account, I was able to go back through and see if we had missed anything that we didn't touch on from this talk. And we pretty much hit everything that we had written down. So I guess our memories aren't so bad. 3 months later, we're still hitting the high notes. So hope you guys enjoy. As we start this, I say, do you want to talk about this for 20 minutes? And then we proceeded to talk about the trip for 90 minutes. So I'm hoping I can edit it down a little bit for you guys. But hope you guys enjoy. John, I mean, should we try to just, we're 37 minutes in. You want to try to go 20 minutes to talk about our trip?
We can. Yeah,
we can't go in that much more detail. We're cooked, as you say.
We're cooked. Well,
I don't remember much, fans.
We know the highlights.
I remember John and Mr. R took my car for a joyride while I was taking a nap. That's the main thing that I remember from the whole trip.
We went to get food. You were
Did you
asleep.
ask? Did you ask?
What were we going to do?
Uber? I drove. Sorry, I was tired after driving for 10 hours.
It's okay.
What's okay? I'm not asking for forgiveness.
Came back all in one piece.
How'd it drive?
Nice. For how many miles? It's good.
Uh-huh. I mean, I just think I drove. I don't know. Whatever. And then I thought maybe, I was like, and when it happened, I'm like, well, maybe, they'll offer to drive like to DD later on in the trip, but no. Only when you wanted to drive, you would drive. Never when it was an inconvenience.
Go out, then we Ubered.
Once. We were out the other night, the second night we were out, and I had to drive home. That's okay. I guess I'll always drive. That's fine.
Now I know your true feelings.
So, fans,
I'll offer to drive.
That's pretty much what I remember from the trip.
There was no television in the Airbnb. It smelled like...
Who booked the Airbnb for one?
Curry.
No, it didn't, did it?
At one point.
All right. So, fans, we went down to... I don't know how much we talked about this with the fans because it's been so long, but we went down to Charlottesville, Virginia for... I guess we could call it like a mini historic, a miniature historical triangle, a mini triangle. of sorts.
Yeah. Definitely 3 points.
That's what makes up a triangle.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like more of a scalene triangle,
Right.
where like two are real close. No, is that a scalene? Whatever, like 2 points are really close and then 1 point's really far away.
Yeah. Scalene business.
I don't think that's what it is, but I think a scalene triangle is just where all the lengths are different.
No. But anyway, we went down. And what was the impetus? Anyway, we went to...
What's that word mean? What does that word mean?
Why did we decide to go? What was the... Did I put it out? Did you throw it out there?
No, I think at one point I said that I wanted to go to... I wanted to see Mount Vernon. I don't know what made me think of it. So I said, hey, I want to go to Mount Vernon. And then you said, well, I've been there. I want to go to Monticello. And then I said, okay, that's good, because I just found out that Mount Vernon's under construction and like part of it's closed off. So
yeah, so it came about pretty quickly. So we decided on doing Monticello, which is in Charlottesville, Virginia. And it just so happens that
it's an isosceles triangle. A scalene triangle is where all sides are unequal. An isosceles triangle is where two sides are the same and one is different. So like the one is short and the two are long.
Got it. It's a word I have not heard in a long time.
Yeah. I said it before I looked it up.
Impressed.
The same.
Sorry for stealing
So
your
we
car.
decided to go. So
anyway.
Funk.
Huh?
I knew that would get you in a funk.
It was definitely put you. Now I know it put you in a funk. I had my guess. I had my assumptions, but so we went to we decided let's go to Monticello. We had this show.
We'll have Matt drive, and then it'll be fine because then we could just go and take it for a joyride whenever we want.
And wanted you to get your booty sleep. You were tired. I understood you drove a lot. I got it. I wasn't like, oh, why are you falling asleep, dude? We got to hear you. You were driving.
All right, so we went. All right, it's fine. It's fine. It's over. It's been 2 months, 3 months.
3 months already. Wow.
2 months. Yeah, no, 3 months. So,
August.
yeah. So we went. So we went to 3 presidents. So John wanted to see Monticello, which is where Thomas Jefferson lived, and then we kind of did a little bit more research, and we found out that
James
I don't know.
Monroe.
You probably knew it, but James Monroe was right up the street because they were them boys.
Yep.
And then James Madison was like in a little bit further. So they all kind of, and we kind of, they're all Virginia boys, but they all kind of did live near each other, hop, skip, and a jump away from each other. Jefferson and Monroe much closer. They were like, in each other's backyards.
Yeah.
And then James Madison was like a 40-minute drive away. So we went to do that. Stayed in Charlottesville, which is the home of UVA, which is a pretty cool little town.
Which is what was founded by Thomas Jefferson. And he could literally see it.
UVA was. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice little town. When we stopped, when we got there, we stopped to get a nice little bite to eat in the with some outdoor seating, and we got a nice view of a homeless gentleman sleeping in his own vomit. That was nice. Nice little touch.
Dave Matthews
Remember
played
that?
there a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave Matthews from there. Dave Matthews Band's from there. So it's pretty cool. It's a cool little town. I mean, they had like the main streets basically is blocked off for vehicular traffic. So you can kind of walk around. There's shops and
imagine what was going on.
Stores and everything. If I was to give a review of the town, we'll just get the Charlottesville part of it over with. The breweries were trash. All the microbreweries, like they didn't have a great selection of beer. They tasted fine, I guess, except for the bar that Dave Matthews either worked at or got started at. Either got started at musically or worked there. I am under the impression that he worked there, but the people who currently work there think that he performed there and never worked there. So I don't know. But that bar was pretty cool. It was like dark, kind of like old school as far as like just kind of like a pub feel. The food was good from what I remember. And the best part was upstairs there was a pool table. There was pool tables. Oh, the main draw that I liked it as soon as we got there is it was the only bar that had a domestic beer, a non-craft trash beer. And because like I don't mind craft beer or whatever, but the whole thing was it was August, so like I wanted a refreshing beer at the time, and like they didn't have many of those. Like they didn't have and none of these places had like a Pilsner or like an American ale.
Right.
Or American lager.
Something light
it was
and
all
refreshing.
like Kolsch's, sour
Kolsch's
beers,
are good for
IPAs.
summers, but yeah, it's a taste.
I guess
preference.
I'm not a big.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fine, but like you got to have. Listen, I don't run a craft brewery, but you got to start with a Pilsner and an American lager, and then from there build from there.
And do your own distinct take on them. Do your take on an American lager, but like,
I even think though.
You mean just have Budweiser?
Standard Budweiser.
Just have Budweiser.
A craft Budweiser. Well, if you're a craft beer, you have, but like, I'm sure people know how to make Budweiser at this point, or know how to make, Coors Banquet, or Miller Lite or something. Get one of each of those down, and then build up from there. I mean, whatever. But this place where Dave Matthews had is called Miller's. They had Pabst Blue Ribbon, and they were actually like one of the biggest sellers of Pabst Blue Ribbon in the country. Yep. And they like bragged about that a lot in this upstairs where the pool tables were. And I can only imagine because, like, again, it's the only place where you can get like a domestic beer. So like that's all that anybody was drinking in there. It felt like
you had to wait
everybody
until
was
8 o'clock
PBR.
to get up there. We were sitting at the bar downstairs for a while because the upstairs room didn't open till 8, and then once it opened, crowds flooded in. I mean, it was slammed pretty quickly, I feel like.
Yeah, it was a interesting crowd, to say the least, up there, but they played good tunes. You could smoke up there, which was awesome. I haven't been in a bar where you could smoke in a long, long time. And I think the funniest part was they had signs. So everybody was smoking in there. Like, you definitely just go there to smoke and drink PBR. Like, they were smoking cigars, cigarettes, whatever. But there were signs all over that said no vaping, which is absurd to me. I mean, I can only imagine they just don't want that type of person at a bar like this, which is awesome.
What scent is that? Blueberry?
So
get the hell out of here.
Blue raspberry, super chill. So anyway, the review, I think that's really it. We went to a really bad craft brewery on Friday night. That was terrible.
I like the beer there.
Wasn't really the beer was fine, but again, it didn't have a great selection.
The pizza.
I couldn't get
God, the pizza.
It was just like the food sucked. It wasn't a food place. Like this is a craft brewery that they only do beer, but they have to offer food probably. But we were starving. I was starving.
It's fair to say 3 young, fairly fair-toned guys walk in. I think they called our number as we walked in. They were
fair-toned,
like the politics of the place. I think we got profiled. Like they didn't want us there. They didn't want us there. He didn't want us order. He didn't want me ordering that pizza. Remember?
Well, I knew that. You couldn't read the room. I knew right away. Like, I'm like, this isn't a place to get food.
They had a little standalone pizza thing at the back.
I certainly wasn't going to order it, but John ordered it, and the guy did give him an attitude, and I saw him do it. He just took it and put it into, it's like frozen or whatever, and he put it into a pizza oven. Do you remember what we got? Was it like margarita or like it wasn't even, but like it wasn't like just, it was like they were trying to sell, like, I don't know. Threw it into like one of those like pizza ovens that you can get for your house. And it was it was the worst. It was
worse than
I don't know if I've ever had bad pizza. I mean, we've had some bad pizza in our hometown, John, but this pizza was like borderline inedible. It
was like Elio's.
Worse. I like Elio's.
Oh.
It was worse. It was so bad. I mean, I don't like Elio's, but I'll eat Elio's. The stuff was horrible. And then the pretzel, and he got a pretzel too. Yeah. No dipping, no mustard, nothing. Just like shitty pretzel. I wish I knew what that place was called. I mean, I guess we shouldn't talk shit on it, but I'll say this much. My only recommendation is if anybody goes on this restaurant, I don't know what this place is called, don't leave the downtown to go anywhere to drink, for one. Yeah. And 2, go to Miller's. Just don't even waste your time anywhere else. Just go to Miller's. The food's good downstairs. And then there was good music we left before the live music started, but I think there's live music every day there. There's music outside.
There's like busking. People out on the street.
It's cool. It's a cool town. I don't think we did it right. Honestly, just go to Miller's. Okay, so that's it for Charlottesville. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say to just Charlottesville?
So
in general? UVA was cool. We learned about
this.
those.
Edgar Allan Poe. We learned
those-
about that bozo going there for a
Oh, yeah.
semester.
Yeah,
Poe Alley.
Edgar Allan Poe went there. This is the secret societies, Z Boys, and the Imps,
The Imps.
and how Otto Warmbier, the famed butthead who got busted in North Korea.
The story goes,
I was
fans,
thinking about that.
he was put up by
Okay.
by the Z Boys, right?
Yeah, so like there's like these secret societies. It sounds a very
Dead Poet
After
Society.
dark.
I don't know.
it's lame, and they like I don't know when you look it up. They're like, oh, they do what they do vandalism and charity or something, right? It's like,
No, it's like quirky mischief and like charity. Yeah,
and like charity, yeah. So
they
whatever.
prank each other. Pranks and charity.
But if you guys remember, I don't know if you guys remember, Otto Warmbier was the guy who went to North Korea and got caught stealing propaganda from the hotel he was staying at, and then he got sentenced to hard labor, and then like
Send him
a
back
year
one.
later, North Korea's like, okay, you can have him back now, and they send him back in a coma, and he died like 2 days later. Not funny, but interesting story.
He was a student. He was a freshman at the University of Virginia, and he apparently was saying that one of these clubs, one of these societies, put him up to it. Basically, like go
To
ahead,
like get in, like as
do
an,
the ultimate
as an
prank.
initiation.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to steal a sign in North Korea.
But then the Z Boys were like, yeah, we don't, nah, we don't have that guy.
I don't know. The whole society thing looks so strange. It definitely looked like his dad could have been one. It's one of these, like, they're not fraternities, but it was like, yeah, secret societies. Like, oh, my father was a Z boy and my great grandfather was. It's one of these.
Yeah, we'll
like,
have to see if we can find somebody to see if it's actually cool or not. I'd be curious, like the modern student, if it's actually like cool to be in one of them, or if it's like equivalent to like the kids who have lightsaber fights out on the quad at night on college campuses.
I just had a lightsaber fight last week for Halloween.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, cool. So
It's after dark.
like John said, Edgar Allan Poe, they were really obsessed with Edgar Allan Poe having gone there. Like there's Edgar Allan Poe swag all over the bookstore. It's weird.
Bookstore was nice. Fun. Yeah, the guy's a bum. I don't know why all these cities seem to love this guy, but he seemed like
Yeah.
he flamed out of everything he did. I mean, I guess he wrote The Raven. Maybe some of his stories were half decent, but
That other one that he wrote was good. The heart beating one. What was that one?
Telltale Heart.
Yeah. That was a good one. So anyway, the main attraction was going to Monticello, Highlands, which is where James Monroe lives, and then where did James Madison live?
Montpelier.
So
we basically did it. So we got there on the Friday, and then we basically on Saturday we did 2. So we did Monticello in the morning. We were there at 9 a.m. part of the first tour group, and the way they do this is you drive in. It's like a theme park. Seriously, the parking. I think that was my first words. There was parking everywhere, and it wasn't very crowded when we got there. So we got out, go through like metal detectors, and it's a whole thing. And then you got
it does. Yeah, it's a little bit more official than just like showing up to Yorktown or whatever.
So you go through, you walk up these stairs to get picked up by a bus, which will then basically take you up to the house itself and to the grounds. You can snap a picture of a life-size statue with Thomas Jefferson, which I did. We got in, and then you get up there.
And you know what's crazy about the picture that I took of John? He stood next to this statue, and his stance was exactly the same as how Thomas Jefferson is standing. Like your right foot was his feet were planted exactly the same, and it was just a coincidence.
He's living through me.
Maybe, or maybe it says that Thomas Jefferson was a bozo.
6, 7. So we get up there.
Lame. Were you trying to find a way to add that into the show? Did you just learn about 6, 7?
I'm not that cool. No.
That was pathetic.
Well, so you get up there to the top of the hill, and they have like cardboard. They have like cutouts of the slaves working there. Weren't there like
what? No, that's not true.
No, they drive up. There was like I don't know.
No,
there were
that's
like
not
silhouettes
true.
of things, weren't there?
No.
Oh, crap.
Maybe. Maybe you were just like having a nightmare as you were driving up, picturing it. I mean, unless I missed it, I definitely don't remember that at all.
Anyway, you get to the top, you see one building, and they basically start. Then the circus, then the ride show begins. They basically circle you into these different like tour groups. And you're like, "What time are you here? Oh, 9 a.m., 9:15. Okay, go here." They shovel you in with these different groups. So we went in, and as you're walking up, you're getting the whole backstory from the tour guide, and basically you come to find out that Thomas Jefferson wanted it to look kind of modest. So that's why he didn't want it to be multiple stories high. So this is fans. This is
They started as soon as we got in there, they started making Thomas Jefferson seem like a idiot.
Yeah. They laid it down
Like-
pretty hard.
They're like literally the first things out of their mouth are basically like, yeah, Thomas Jefferson, he wrote the Declaration of Independence, but he sure didn't live up to his ideals, did he? Now, with all men are created, like literally, I think it might have been pre-recorded on what they played in the bus on the way up there. They were so quick to tell you that he was a head immediately.
Even though he designed the whole house, he was an amateur architect. I think they made a point to say that he was an amateur architect because he designed the home himself.
Right, yeah. He like designed it like 3 different times. It went through a couple iterations, but anyway, John, talk about the one story thing.
It was
Do you remember?
the house? They basically said he wanted it to look more modest, and he didn't want to, I guess, maybe give the impression of like royalty, like kind of being, I guess, garish and overly kind of verbose. Is that the right word? Basically, just like kind of look crazy. But we just looked at this house is massive. He didn't want it to look like a mansion. Basically, it's like this is the largest 1-story house I've ever seen,
and it's on the top of a mountain in like the most beautiful country of like
staring
in like
out,
the blue
miles
mountains
and miles and miles. Like, I just want it to be modest take.
So the way that he designed it was like the windows of the second floor are like only at the ground level. So like the windows of the house like span they're all one unit of windows, but they span from the first floor to like the bottom portion of the second floor. So you get the natural light on the second floor, but it doesn't but you can't see if you can't tell from the outside.
Yeah. So we go in,
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah. So we go in, you get taken into like an entry walkway,
Foyer,
where it's kind of you met guests, and it's kind of the most like, captivating part of the room.
Is this the one? Was this the place where he had all the Lewis and Clark stuff? Is that
all the Lewis and Clark stuff?
Tour?
Yep, all the Lewis and Clark stuff. We can just kind of go over the quick highlights in this. So in this one room, you had different kind of things to the explorations, Lewis and Clark, because he was the president when that happened. One cool thing in that room was basically, obviously there's no calendars back then. He basically had this weight and pulley system going on in the corner where, was it every day of the week?
Yeah, it was like a grandfather clock.
Yeah.
And every day the weight would drop and tell you what day of the week it was.
Mm-hmm. That was cool. But the trippiest thing in this whole room was this like Alice in Wonderland mirror that he had.
We were the only ones that looked at it too.
It was wild.
I was like walking. It was like convex. It was like convex, I guess, but it was like I've never
also
looked into a mirror
concave.
like this in my life. Yeah, it was like really trippy, and I don't even remember now like what was trippy about it. But I remember looking at it. It's like, whoa! I was like, I brought you guys over. I'm like, yeah, look into this mirror, and then I think there was somebody in the tour guide who's like, yeah, that was a gift or something. I'm like, what's up with it? They're like, it's like looking in the back of a spoon. I'm like, I never looked into a spoon like that before in my life.
So that was
Yeah, it
cool.
was crazy.
And then from there on, we kind of just proceeded. Matt just getting kind of pushed out of the way, trying to look at book collections and other things.
Yeah, they have like his book. So his book collection got donated to the Library of Congress after the Library of Congress burned down
during the War of 1812.
So he donated his book collection, but they still had a couple original parts of his book, like Don Quixote. I think they had the original Don Quixote, his original Don Quixote. So we were walking through and we were able to see the book, and I was like bent over looking at it, and the most gigantic person I've ever spin around pushed me out of the way. So
we have photo evidence. We have photo evidence, fans, if you want to see that too.
We also there was a baby crying the whole time. That was really nice. A nice touch with like a family that was either like they were either Mexican or Native American. I couldn't really tell. Not that I'm care, but I thought they were Native American the whole time.
And I guess you say that in kind of like a why are you here kind of. What are you getting? No,
I was just thinking about is like I wonder if they take the tour and everybody's talking about slavery and how they've been treated so poorly and no one and like Al like, oh, all men aren't created equal, but the slavery, but they don't say like, oh yeah, all men are created equal except we pushed all the Indians out of their own land and like shoved them into one corner of the country and whatever. Like, so like I it was a very awkward as I thought that they were Native Americans. It was very awkward that I felt like they were like these people. We can't catch a break.
Now we know why we've been disabled. tiptoeing around.
It's after dark, dude.
We're really just stomping through it.
So,
saw where he died on July 4th, 1826.
Yeah. Yes.
He was basically
died in his bed
upright, right?
His bed was weird.
His bed was basically cut out into a wall. And they said
he wanted more room.
And every morning he would turn when he woke up, he put his feet in ice water, right?
I don't remember that part.
Yeah. He had ice, ice water.
Like, there was something with his bed. His bed was super short because he sat up to sleep, I think.
You have experience with that. Would you recommend it?
No. No. And then what else? It's kind of
his boots.
Oh, John. Now let's not forget. You pulled the old classic John move at a museum and tried to outsmart the poor guy.
I don't recall exactly.
So if you fans remember, if you remember, when we went to the Tudus Kosciuszko Museum, we discussed a certain fur coat. Well, is it a fur coat? Is that what it is? Or
yes,
is that what it is?
That's right.
Fur coat that was given to Tudus Kosciuszko from Prince Alexander.
Yeah, Emperor Paul before Alexander,
whoever,
Russian emperor.
They were basically like, get out of the country. Here's some money. Here's a fur coat. Leave from Poland. After he was captured in the Polish Revolution, whatever. That was gifted from Tudus Kosciuszko to Thomas Jefferson, and Thomas Jefferson is wearing that in his presidential portrait, or that's not what it is.
One of the famous ones, and he's wearing it in the Jefferson Memorial.
He's wearing it as he's sitting on the thing. You sure?
Let me see.
In any case.
Maybe he's not wearing
so
it.
He's talking, and as soon as John, as soon as like, you know, we're there, and the whole time John's like, they're not going to say anything about Tudus Kosciuszko, because as you remember, we understand that Thomas Jefferson and Tudus Kosciuszko were friendly at the time, and Thomas Jefferson helped him get out of the country and blah blah. So we thought maybe they would have talked to him about it, but of course they didn't. So, you know, when they at the point in the tour when they were really laying it on about how much of a shithead Thomas Jefferson is, when they start talking about how he died with no money and he died in debt and his family had to take care of it because he was a bum. Because of, for whatever reason, they had to auction off his house, Monticello, and I forget how it got sold for pretty cheap. But of course, John had to bring up.
Coat. I said, what about the fur coat? Where'd it go? And the guide gave me some.
He just said, like, oh yeah, it must have gotten auctioned off with the other stuff or something. Like they didn't know where it is.
They didn't know. He never even heard of the guy. Even though there was a picture of Tedusco Chusco in the dining room.
There was, yes.
Tiny little picture.
A tiny little picture, not called out in the tour. And then as we were leaving, when we finished the tour and we were going outside, John brought him up again. And I forget what exactly, it was about the freeing of the slaves.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, because Kosciuszko had it in his will that he specifically wanted the money that was due to him from his fighting in the American Revolution, his back pay. He basically wanted that money to go
to free
towards
Thomas Jefferson,
specifically his slaves. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the guy gave you some nonsense saying, "Oh, well, families, and it's hard to." I forget what your question was exactly, but the guy was like, "Yeah, some families, and executing will, yeah. Because wasn't there was a bunch of contention with his will anyway, or something?
Chusco's will.
Oh, with Kosciuszko, yeah, right. That's true.
That kind of lingered until like the 1830s.
He didn't have it anyway. The tour guide was fine, but he didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah,
and then like you get out, so then you go through the house, and then you leave into the backyard, which was like for how much did we pay per ticket?
40 some. Was that 40 something?
Something like that. It was expensive. For us to pay $40 some to go see some guy's house, this backyard was maintained like absolute ass. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was all muddied.
It was all muddy. It wasn't nice grass. I couldn't believe how poorly the lawn was.
Well, maybe they wanted it to look like Thomas Jefferson in his last days, or when his family took over the shop.
Maybe.
All the debtors all the creditors coming out of the woodwork and don't have enough time to sod
I get
the yard.
There's like, you got to they preserve the house, which is important and stuff, but would have been nice to see a nicely kept
I think
lawn.
the lasting impression they want you to walk away from Monticello with is thinking the guy didn't take care of things, and they did a very good job of that. Like his family, his progeny, his
Yeah.
So we go through there. We walked around the slave court. They had not the slave court. Did they have that?
They had the slave quarters. They had a weird bench that was like, "Oh, sit here and think about how bad slavery was."
Makes you wonder, huh? Well, what did we do?
They did. Remember that? I have a picture of me sitting on that thing.
And what was the one? Oh, but we did learn the one story with the slave. The one story because we thought we were going to get beat over the head with Sally Hemings stuff, because that's a big thing. Like
we did,
somewhat. But we could have gotten beaten over the head more.
Again, it was like one of the first things they brought up. But when you first meet and you get put into your groups, the intro lady, not even our tour guide, but the intro lady, she's like, "Yeah, you'll see Monticello, and then you'll see where Sally Hemings lived."
Yeah.
Anyway,
but she was a big deal. So what was it though with her brother? That was about you know what? You can try to get away from it, but I think our fans need to know this.
This is sad. This is a sad story. Do you remember the story, or do you want me to remind you?
Remind me. I'll come in as well.
So the story goes, Sally Hemings came when Thomas Jefferson was assigned to be in France for whatever. Was he like the ambassador of France or whatever they called it back then?
Yeah.
He was over there. Sally Hemings went with him, and Sally Hemings, being a slave and going to France, somehow you're automatically free.
Well, France didn't allow slavery. France didn't allow slavery.
Yeah,
so she was saying, "I'm free."
She could have left, and he would have had and like he wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. She told Thomas Jefferson, like backstory if nobody knows, Sally Hemings was Thomas Jefferson's slave who he later developed a relation with. Obviously, he never got married, but he had children with.
That's the. Mm-hmm.
At this point, they're like, because Thomas Jefferson's wife died like shortly before the Declaration of Independence was written,
Around
or
in the
shortly
1770s. Yeah, it was sometime. He lived.
he's like while all this nonsense was going on, his wife died. So after his wife died, he started like shacking up with this woman who was apparently very hot, for that as so many ways that they could explain it. So she went to France with him, and she told him like, "Listen, I'll stay your slave, but in order for me to remain your slave, I want you to free my brother, who's your slave, who was his personal chef."
Yep.
But then,
Jefferson was paying for him to get. He was basically also covering the cost of.
Oh yeah, he was training.
James,
he was getting trained to be a chef. I forget. He was being trained in France for being a chef, so he could be a better chef.
Bring the skills back with him. Yeah.
I mean, Thomas Jefferson's he's just tossing money all over the place. Learn how to be like he doesn't care about money at this point. Which you later learn he died broke. So then this brother learned how to be a chef. Then Sally Hemings said, "I will not leave you if you free my brother, who's your chef." So then Thomas Jefferson said, "Fine, I will free your brother, who's my chef, but he needs to find somebody to replace him to be my chef, my slave chef," which was agreed to. It turns out this guy chose his brother to replace him to be his chef. So, which was accepted. So now, I mean, one of them got it freed, but the brother took over. And then, like, after some circumstances, I think it's John Hemings, I think John's right, is the one that got freed. He wound up in Baltimore for a little bit, and then he ended up committing suicide like 5 years after he was freed because, I mean, it's like probably life was pretty tough for these people if they were freed.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just a job waiting for you. I would imagine. Yeah.
Which is sad.
It is,
but like
sad.
That's a crazy story. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll free him, but give me your other brother.
Well, but
like,
did
that really solve it?
I guess for me, it wasn't that. It was like it was just the whole story of the freedom and this and that, and it's like, well, this person's given freedom. Here's a very intimate story of somebody's life who got it, and within 5 years, they'd killed themselves after acquiring their freedom. It's just kind of tragic, and it's like it kind of made you wonder the question. Okay, well, obviously slavery is abhorrent. We're gonna get. No, I'm saying you can get. I'm just saying, like,
I don't want to get. Listen, I have my personal email address.
The case is pending. I know the case is pending.
And I now have my personal email address linked to the show.
Why didn't you create another burning? Why didn't you create another?
I should have. I didn't have time. All right, so we got to watch it. But I think, John, to your point, let me try to word it. Let me try to word it better of what you're trying to say. Is you think of all these stories of slaves being freed, and they're always like great stories, like, oh, he was freed and his life was better. And this was one circumstance where it happened and it was a sad outcome. And like maybe he would have been. I mean, I don't want to say he would have been better off, but like, it's just it's a negative story based on being freed. And they told the entire story, like in the tour. I think we got the story, and they left out that part.
Yes.
We had to read that ourselves
because someone would have asked a question, maybe not us, but somebody online. Why did he do that? If he was free,
I would have been.
He's free.
You are leaving yourself up to a question of like, and then how do they answer that question? Because it was just as bad because of the same reason of like being a free black man doesn't necessarily mean that you're given the same freedoms as everybody else. Yeah. Even though Thomas Jefferson, I wish I remembered they kept saying the same phrase over and over again. Like
he didn't live up to his
own principles.
So
didn't live up to his ideals. Yeah. So Thomas Jefferson didn't live up to his ideals. Not everyone is created, that all men are created equal. So, and they could have tied it in that way. But so let's get off the subject of slavery. But yeah, so we did the slavery
we're going to Madison's house. What are you talking about? We went to 2 other plantation homes. We can't.
Okay, right. Listen, I know, but let's get off of the Jefferson. So then, just like, so we're done that. Then we leave and we're trying to find. We walk. We don't take the bus back down to the visitor center. We actually walk down because we wanted to walk by the grave site of Thomas Jefferson.
Yep.
And we walked by it, and they were having a funeral for someone of his family. Somehow, if
Distant
you
relative.
have lineage, distant relative, you can still be buried in this his thing. But we went to look at Thomas Jefferson's thing, and there was this like random dude like in there, just like answering questions. We're like, "Oh, do you work here?" He's like, "No, nah, I'm just helping out here with the funeral." And we're like, oh, "Okay." I'm like, and then we were like asking him questions, and like he didn't have any answers. It was pretty funny. I don't remember the details of that. It was kind of like it was a ghost.
And the pillar that was there to him was erected in
The obelisk.
The obelisk that was put there in the 1880s. I think Chester Arthur might have been the president when that was built, because the original headstone had basically been jacked over the years.
Yeah, people were taking pieces of it as.
And the last remaining piece that they're aware of is in St. Louis now. It was sent out to St. Louis.
I think so.
Because that's where the expedition, the Lewis and Clark expedition, had kicked off. That was interesting. Yeah, he's like, his mother's there. His other relations are there. That was nice.
Yeah, like his best friend was there. That was kind of nice. It was a nice little story. Something like his best friend like died, and he's like, I want to be buried next to him. I think that was like something that I remember.
Yeah. We got down. We kept walking. It wasn't very far. I mean, we could have walked up.
No, it wasn't
initially,
far.
We didn't know.
Yeah, but
so we go back
it
to the
was
visitor
fine.
center. We get back down.
There was a museum that was pretty cool. Some like old surveying equipment that was cool. They actually had. We learned that every day he wrote down the weather. The weather in the morning and the weather in the afternoon at Monticello every single day. I was like, what the hell? He didn't have anything else better to do. Every single day he wrote in that thing. Remember that?
I remember I had you in stitches too at one point.
We talked about this before, and like
we couldn't remember.
I'm sure
it was something you and Seth, you and Mr. R were both laughing.
I don't remember.
But also some guy came up at me where we were looking at, because they had an iteration of like the different iterations.
Yeah,
that
they had like the
Monticello.
Monticello one or two.
And some guy came up at me. I don't know what he was talking. Like, I was just talking to you, and then he started.
Yeah, he butted in. It's like just a typical like historical museum.
It was like me
experience. Yeah, a little bit
chiming in.
You just stick to the authority figures to attack them. You know,
right.
you don't attack the
plebs,
patrons. Then that was. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember much else from that. Then we went to eat lunch at some like old school tavern down the hill from him. What was that place called?
Michi.
Michi Tavern. Is that what it is?
Like it was diner stuff. It was a la carte. A la carte? No.
It was cool. It wasn't a la carte. It was like a buffet, and you could. So John and I have a very bad experience. Some people may know of a buffet that we went to on a casino cruise when we were 18, where it was marketed as a buffet. So we went and got one plate full of stuff, and then we went to get more. They said, "Oh, this is just a buffet. It's not an all-you-can-eat buffet." So we went starving, and I was very worried that we were going to have the same situation here, because when you walk in, it's very old school. You go in, you wait in line, they serve you, but they kept saying like, we'll serve, like you get your first, and then any seconds we'll serve you. But I didn't trust that, so I loaded my plate up with all the entrees. It was like chicken. It was mostly chicken, right?
Fried chicken was their big thing.
Yeah,
what else? I'm looking at the
there
pictures here. I thought the sides were good too.
Yeah, it was like southern. It was just like southern food. I guess
pulled pork. They had pulled pork that was really good.
Oh yeah, did they?
Biscuits, beets. Looks like I think those were good.
Gazpacho soup was gross.
Cornbread, green beans. Yeah, super southerny. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was southern food. It was good, but so I went through, and then then of course, so we sit down, and then of course they do have like waiters walking around saying like, hey, they greet you. So you find a seat, and then the waiters come up and they say like, hey, enjoy, and anything you need, let me know. I'll get you seconds or whatever. So of course this poor old man was working there. And an old guy. It was like the middle of the day on a Saturday, and
this picture. He's on the website. I remember I saw him.
They get him wearing a lame ass outfit. Like it's like one of those jobs that you feel bad for anybody having, kind of. Like, wow, that sucks. So There's this old guy, and John just got to the assumption because of how shitty the job was that nobody that old would possibly actually work there. So if he's that old, he must own the place. Like, I mean, you're a glorified busboy. You're not even a waiter.
A busboy who might run a favor every so often.
So the guy walking around, and John asks him, "Oh, so do you own the place?"
Did. And then immediately his demeanor was like, he was kind of happy beforehand, and then he was like, no,
I wish,
or I'd be in a much better spot in my life if I did. So
that was pretty bad.
So I told myself that he was retired. He doesn't need to worry about money. He's still just doing this for fun. Kind of like a Wawa.
But then didn't he say like I've been working here for like 30 years or something?
Maybe he's got a good retirement
plan.
I
don't know. I don't know. I started working here when I was a junior in high school, and I just left.
Here he is. His picture's on the website too. So I mean, that's why I was thinking like, oh, this guy's probably owns the place. So he must have like a approach. Yeah. Anyway, he's tells the kids all he knows. It was good.
So it was good. It was fine. We were killing time because we thought we had an appointment at Highlands, a timed appointment that we thought we had to be there at a certain time, like a time ticket,
2:00,
I believe. Yep. So we were kind of in a rush. So we hung around for a little bit, and then we scooted up to James Monroe's Highland, which is like up the street from Monticello. You want to take this one?
Yeah.
Do you remember the scene?
We're driving. It's very beautiful, very scenic area, Blue Ridge Mountains. And
first of all, let me hold on. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt because I know I do that a lot. John, when going into it, John kept. I just want to let the fans know. Going into it, John kept saying, "I think we're going to be blown away by Highlands. I think Highlands is going to be the sleeper,
the sneaky." This is like
the sneaky highlight. This is going to be the highlight. Yeah, you think Monticello, but no, it's going to be Highlands. So go ahead.
Yeah. So this Highlands, it was being managed by the College of William and Mary. First warning sign. But anyway, so we go from Michi's Tavern, and it was about a 10-minute drive and some kind of back winding roads. Really nice drive. There's a signage as you come in, and you could see past the sign. It's probably like a mile of like wooded trees and overhang, like there's trees kind of guiding your way, and so it really builds this anticipation. You're driving up this long driveway, and eventually you can see it.
I think we kept saying that we had Didn't we keep making some allusion like, I think they got a little bit of a wee measuring contest here or something, or. Wasn't there something about like, James Monroe is a little bit of a,
like he was kind of had a bigger wee because of it. He was
the big dick in town, basically.
Yeah, like it was given this impression that like because it was kind of hidden too. It was off the main road,
and higher in elevation than Monticello.
Higher in elevation. I'm looking on the Google Maps right here. I see it, James Monroe's Highland. Make your reservation today. So it's like a big secret, It's like almost, it looks like this, it's a must see thing, right? So we turn off the road and we're winding up this, long way, and we get there. We get towards a parking lot. We still can't see a home. And I look off to my right, and I make a joke to Matt and Mr. R, and I say, what if that, like, it's a shed? It's literally a shed. I'm like, what if that's the house right there? And they're like, that'd be really funny, Anyway, so we park, and they have a visitor center, a gift shop, really, with a desk. But you walk in, there's a
lady there. I remember her.
Yeah.
She was like, she was like...
She didn't give
like
a tip. She kind of was like, seemed like badass. She kind of was like, no nonsense.
Yeah, she was like a tough,
just like cool,
kind of pretty,
tough.
Pretty.
We were like, we're here for 2:00. She's kind of like, I don't care.
She's like, okay,
do what you want.
Wait, and then John's like, yeah, I bought tickets online for everything. Like, it's like, what? Like immediate weird vibes from this place.
She's like, you can go wherever you want. And we were like, that was another tell. Just go ahead. It's really not a big deal. And that was foreshadowing. So we go. So we walk out.
Well, first of all, no. So she gives us a map. She's like, "You want a map? You want me to you want a map? We got a tour going. Oh, there was a tour scheduled or something." So she's like, "You can go out now and the tour meets here or whatever." We're like, okay. So she's like, "Here's a map. I'll show you around." So she takes the map out, and there's the house, and there's a map of the whole place, and there's a house shown there. And then she's like, "Okay, so you want to go here, make this left, and then you can walk right up to the home." Here you'll pass by this. This is a tree that from the Monroe era, the original from the Monroe era. Which immediately I was like, "So what?"
The house is here. Yeah, we came for his house. We came for his house.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so there's a tree that was here when he lived here. Like, big deal. We're here for the house.
And so we're wandering. We see there's like a kind of a maze looking thing we're walking through. There's a big
hedges.
statue of him. We make another big wee joke as we see his statue. I get a picture next to it. He looks cool. Like, he's like standing.
We're pretty excited at this point.
Yeah, we're like pumped. Like, wow, this is cool. The cool atmosphere, shrubbery, everything's kind of leading into something great. And so we end up walking. We don't go straight to where we didn't follow her direction.
We went the wrong way.
We walked under a tent, which was oh, they must put weddings on here too. Oh, cool. You can see the house, and then you can have a wedding here too. You can just block the whole place up. That'd be awesome. Oh, this place looks really sweet. Mind you, we still haven't seen the house yet. So we're walking under this tent. We eventually come out the other side.
I don't remember that, but I think you're making the tent.
No, there was a tent. There was a tent. And so we walk under that.
Whatever.
We come out the other side.
There was no tent. Go ahead.
And then we see in front. So there is a building. There is a yellow building with what is this?
Initially, my thought was this house doesn't look like it's from the 1700s.
The house that we saw looked earliest 1850s. You'd say,
yeah,
absolute earliest. So we see that, but behind it, there's some white structure, and that looked a little older, but we weren't sure what was going on. We were a little confused. And so in front of the yellow house, there was basically a few trees, and basically these, a rectangle, you'd say.
It's laid out like an archaeology dig.
Yep.
An archaeology dig.
Like they're looking for something. And there's basically
a big pile of dirt there.
Big pile of dirt, and there's a rectangle, a stone rectangle encasing it all in, kind of and so you can walk in there. And so meanwhile, Mr. R and I are kind of standing off on the side, and we're trying to get our bearings.
I'm lagging behind a little bit, I think.
Matt's dragging a little bit. But Matt's walking in this rectangle. And Mr. R and I, we're starting to just read the brochure. And as I'm reading it, I'm looking at Mr. R, and he's like, I think we're both coming to a conclusion that's wait a minute, what's going on here? And then without fail, I look up and I just hear Matt. He's like, wait, what?
I'm like, what the f*** is this?
So fans, spoiler alert. James Monroe's Highland does not exist. It burnt down in 1820, and they have an archaeological dig on the site where they think it was.
Yeah, and they have it. And this was something recently discovered. So 10 years ago, we would have gone there and we would have thought that what the house that we were seeing
the guest house.
The
guest house in the back.
House, so the part that was in the
structure
back.
We thought was the house, but turns out that was a guest house that was a later addition. And then this yellow house from the 1850s looking house was built by a whole different family, not the Monroes. The Monroes had sold out after their house burned down in the 1820s.
No, I don't think so. I think they sold the house and the house burned down after they sold it.
Oh.
I don't think it burned while they were
in it. Oh,
yeah.
It was in the 1820s. It burnt down in the 1820s.
Yeah. I think he moved out of there fairly soon after his presidency. Yeah. Well, we would know more, but to fast forward a little bit, then inside the house, they made the house into a museum.
Yeah.
And the museum, you learn jack shit about James Monroe's life.
Absolute nothing. You found out that he owned slaves. That does come up. That is mentioned.
It's slavery. It's so into slavery for this, and literally learned very little about James. I went into it not really knowing that much about James Monroe, and I think we left and we thought I think I said to
Even
John,
less.
like, I think I might know less now.
We did learn, though, that James Madison liked staying. Apparently, James Madison preferred staying at James Monroe. He thought Monticello was a little too snooty.
Yeah, which was funny because Thomas Jefferson, the amateur architect he is, must not have accomplished what he was looking for. They said it. They said it something. They had the phrase like you could, like he felt like he could, take his shoes off more. So like some
back.
Phrase of like
Kick back.
he
a
could
little
kick
bit.
back more with the Madison.
It's also funny because we'll get to where James Madison was living. It's interesting that he needed, maybe that's why he needed a place to kind of kick back. But anyways, yeah, we're cruising around this museum, and then we saw that there was that quote, and there's like art. There are some artifacts and this, that, and the other, but
I
we're
learned
still
about
just
the
so dumbfounded that we're at a place that the house doesn't exist because the marketing.
I was so mad. If you knew that the house burned down, nobody would go to that place. Nobody would go.
He actually has a proper museum dedicated to him in Fredericksburg that they took his law offices and they made it into a James Monroe museum. And I think that is,
right.
If you want to learn about his life and all the stuff he did, like that's the place to go. If you want to get shysted out of $25 by College of William and Mary.
And it was cheap. It was cheap.
When you're out seeing Monticello, obviously you're not coming out here just to go to this place. It's obviously going after the Monticello crowd and riding those coattails. So
for sure,
good on you, College of William and Mary.
Which James Monroe probably did himself. So
did himself.
I mean, it sucked in there. It sucked. And then the best part,
so we walk out. So we need to catch a breath. We walk out the front door of the yellow house because that's, I guess, supposed to be the official entrance. We walk out. And there's a bench there. There's a bench you can sit down, and we just need to take 5. We just need to catch our breath because like we don't know. We just walk through. We feel like we all got hoodwinked into this thing, and we're sitting on this bench. And at this point, there's an official tour going on, starting, and
with a total chooch running this thing. Like he would give the tour guide from the American Revolution Museum like a run for his money.
So how many were in the tour? Probably like 10 people.
There were a decent amount of people, honestly.
Different group. I mean, I think they were different culture, different. They weren't all American. They were definitely like it was an eclectic group.
Well, like our initial plan was to go on the tour.
Yeah,
like our initial plan was to go there, but then we're like, all right, we'll kill some time beforehand. So, but by the time we're on the porch, we're like, we probably saw everything for 1, and 2, it's like, I have no interest in going on this tour. There's nothing to tour.
Yeah, right. So we thought, and then we saw that, and then this happened. So we're sitting there, and this young kid, he's what, probably 25?
25. Probably William and Mary's intern. Probably a William and Mary history student.
Intern here, yeah. So we're
probably
sitting
couldn't
there.
cut it. Probably couldn't cut it at Williamsburg. They sent him over. If you can't cut it at Williamsburg, they sent you over to.
You gotta earn your keep here. You gotta prove yourself. It's a proving ground. So we're sitting there on the porch.
He went from hoeing the tobacco fields to giving tours of the violin.
We're sitting here, and he's got 10 people, and he's like starting this thing up. So he's like basically it's one of these like situations like, okay, everyone, I want you to close your eyes and take yourself. Imagine it's 1820. And you're here at the home of James Madison, and you're going to see. And so let's begin. We first walk to the door, and he basically kind of looks like a butler. Imagine like an 1820s butler, like super properly dressed, has like a certain strut and a walk. So he basically does like an about 2-point, like a 3-point kick up walk, like military, like think of like military dress turn sort of thing.
John, you're not setting it up right.
I don't know how to, what?
Sorry. What he said was he's standing in front of us, in front of the entrance to this house that you must think is the house of James Monroe.
Right. That's right.
And he asked the crowd, he says, well, hold on, let me knock on the door first to make sure there's no private tours going on.
Yes.
And then he does the about face turn and like fakes out the whole, so like he says that, and the whole the premise is the tour, the people on the tour are going to assume that he's going to go to the house, but instead he about faces turns
To the
to the
empty area.
nothingness of the archaeology, and then he proceeds to go knock knock knock. Anybody in here? And walks in, and then he turns to the crowd with like a shoulder shrug, like, this is it.
As you can tell, the house is not here. And I
Gotcha.
I looked at people's
Thanks for the
face.
$25.
They call that the old Jimmy M fake out.
I was telling.
I think some of the ladies in the group were like, "Oh, this is interesting." I looked at faces and I was like, "Was nobody pissed?" Like, I tried looking around, seeing like confusion.
I would have been so angry if we like waited for the tour.
Waited like
40
minutes. Yeah, we were there for some time before they got to going with it. It would have been
so
hilarious, though. I mean, that.
I don't know. I would have definitely said something. I just really know what my vocal reaction would have been if this is how we were told by this bozo. Pretty funny.
It was funny. I mean, and
funny.
the guest house was kind of modeled, I guess. There was. Well, that was
the guest house. I think the guest house was original. They're not really
They're
sure.
not sure.
I think the guest house was original.
I got a picture of the donkey. And there's this little like stable house thing. And
there's like a donkey's.
It's the donkey sticking out. It's so sad. So sad.
The donkey looked so sad. I don't know what it was doing there. But this donkey, it just was like looking at us like, please kill me.
Yep. Looks like he had the same face 5 years ago when this picture was taken that I'm looking at.
So I mean that's Highland.
So then we proceeded to keep sending pictures back and forth using ChatGPT of Matt basically shrugging his shoulders like, oh, I guess I'm here in Highland. And like funny puns about how Thomas Jefferson was making fun of James Monroe as his house burnt down. That kind of stuff. Just
it was like fun. It was good we went because it brought some good banter, but
then so we left Highland. We were like dumbfounded. The gift shop was great. We bought a couple of drinks, hightailed out of there.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And then we spent our night. That's when we spent the night in Chancellorsville, went downtown. That's when we went to Miller's and did all that. Charlottesville. So it kind of saved the day a little bit. It was pretty though. I will say, like the landscape in the area was pretty. The view from Monticello was probably nicer, but
it's awesome. It was fun. It was a good day. It was fun. Highlands was just bullshit. And we did a little bit more of a tour of UVA and went to the Rotunda, which is the library that he did. There's not much to say about it. It was cool, but
he designed the Rotunda. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson is able to see the Rotunda from Monticello. He made a point of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of cool. They had like the living quarters kind of walking down.
Yeah, like they have the original structure is kind of cool how it was designed.
Yeah.
The original thing.
We were sitting in the Rotunda.
Not much
cool.
really to say about it.
Yeah. So then, so we had that night in Chancellorsville. We went back. And then Sunday, Charlottesville. I keep saying Charlottesville. We drove through Chancellorsville on the way back. Anyway, so Sunday we were coming home, and it worked out that we would be passing by our third and final stop on the tour, and that was James Madison's Montpelier. And
James Madison, who wrote the Constitution, or the father of the Constitution.
That's how he's known. That's how some describe him.
He penned the Constitution.
He did not pen the Constitution, but
he didn't.
Did not.
Who penned it?
He's the father of he kind of came up with the Virginia Plan, which was
who penned the Constitution?
All the men everyone that was at
who wrote it physically?
Different people. Not him. He was like the note taker there. He was like up front and center taking all the notes.
Governor Morris wrote the final draft of the Constitution.
I see Jacob Chalice.
Well,
the final physical document.
I can only assume you're using ChatGPT. You lazy piece of
However, the content and language were primarily drafted by Gouverneur Morris, who was the main author on the Committee of Style. Many delegates contributed to James Madison playing a particular crucial role in drafting process and earning the title Father of the Constitution. But Jacob Challis, as an assistant clerk for the Pennsylvania General Assembly, he physically transcribed the final draft onto parchment over about 40 hours for $30.
So we went to Montpelier, I guess. The funny part is we're driving into Montpelier. It was also a very nice drive and also a very long driveway. I think Montpelier might have been the longest driveway of all of them, if I remember correctly. Well, I guess British. Monticello,
very British inspired.
Yeah,
they were saying.
But we start driving up, and then all of a sudden you're looking to the right, and you see like horse tracks, and we're like, that's weird. That doesn't look like it would be part of like James Madison's whatever. And we were like, well, whatever. So we stopped. So whatever. We kept going, and then it turns out. So then we check in and everything, and I'm like, we're waiting for the tour to start. So I'm wandering around the museum. I think everybody used the facilities, and we made a point of that. But anyway, as I'm going, I come to learn that of course, the aristocratic American family, the DuPonts, ended up purchasing the property and made it their own. I don't remember, I'm sure we had all the specifics written down on the Google Doc that Google took from us. They bought it and they used it as their own. They didn't preserve really anything about it. The horse track thing was they had an annual horse. I don't know if it was a horse race or if it was a horse like dressage or some horse event, because the DuPont woman who lived here was into horses or something. And just what ended up happening was when she died in the 90s, I think, or the late 80s or early to mid 90s, she left money in her estate to restore the property as it was. Yeah. To what James Madison
and Dolly lived there.
So the house was just redone. Nothing was I think they found some original stuff like from over the years and everything, but they all had to redo it. The house at one point was strictly a DuPont house with no homage to James Madison.
I think I sent you this I found out because I'm reading a book right now called about the Jeffersonian era. But the original DuPont,
you're listening to
it. The original DuPont, not the industrialist where all the money was made that then he could give to his shithead grandkids and their grandkids, but like the OG DuPont who came out during the French Revolution, became them boys with Thomas Jefferson. And apparently he was super important in basically us getting the Louisiana Purchase. So like this DuPont from Thomas Jefferson's era, he was running cover and was kind of helping act as a go-between Napoleon and Jefferson. But when they actually bought this estate, when the DuPont family actually bought Montpelier from James Madison, that James Madison house, that was in like 1901. So by that point, we had about 2 or 3 generations of shitheads. Just
yeah, I know. So
living off
your
the dole.
Point doesn't.
I'm just saying they weren't always bad. I'm just saying you're just
using that to let the fans know that you're listening to an audiobook.
I'm just saying I learned something interesting. They weren't all stupid.
So let's see. This house, I probably remember the least from this house, although I do think this was my favorite house. It was a very classic plantation home, I thought. Nice brick.
Grandfather clock we saw.
Yeah, which was apparently original, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
But like just start on the outside. So the history of this home was James Madison's dad got his riches from a tobacco farming, I believe. And basically they lived down at the bottom of the hill, and then they built this place to like show off or whatever. And then the original home was pretty small, and then James Madison had built onto it. There were 2 front doors because he basically built like an addition once he got married for his family to
His
also
mother.
live in there.
His mother basically ran half the house. Like she
Yeah,
had like
and
her
her-
side of
yeah.
the house, and then he had his side.
And then yeah, I mean there wasn't really much. There were some weird paintings of like naked women on the wall. I remember that. The grandfather clock.
The dining room.
I remember they were asking some questions. He was asking some questions. He was trying to get some participation, and we impressed him, I think, with 2 answers. I know the one answer that really impressed him was he asked, I don't even know why this came up, but he asked what other president died on the 4th of July other than John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. And I raised my hand and said James Monroe, and he said, very good. A lot of people don't know that. I said, well, we just came from Highlands yesterday. And he kind of got the look like, oh, I feel for
They
you.
got you, huh?
Like, yeah, they got you.
They
gotcha.
do dinged you, huh? He was maybe the best tour guide we had of the 3.
He was a good he was a good tour guide. Oh, yeah, there was a funny thing. He had, you could tell that, and not to lay on the slave stuff too much, even though they did it, so we should be able to also. You could tell that they have all been trained. This guy was old school. This was an old school guy. This was like Tim Coyne from John Tyler level, old school. And you could tell that they had been trained to say enslaved people instead of slaves. And he slipped up a couple times. You could tell like he was having a hard time with it.
For sure.
Not that he disrespected the enslaved people
He
or
didn't
whatever,
mean
but
to.
you
It's
could
just
tell he was having a hard time like with the new lingo and keeping up with it. It's like he would like trip up and like say enslaved people.
Yeah. He was remind me, I don't think we ever talked. Yeah, another tour guide we had when we were in California. Yeah, he was just an old timer doing his thing.
Yeah, it was cool. He was a nice guy. They took you up to, which I thought was kind of bogus. I know you were rolling your eyes at it. We went up to a room where like he was like, this is probably the room where he wrote the Constitution. Yeah, they have like this room that's like kind of his study.
Mitchum was an author was up there like a week before. He'd said Mitchum was there doing a whole thing about it. We'll get.
Yeah, there wasn't anything like very memorable from this house except it was my favorite house.
The house itself is like what
nice-
you would think of, like what a real plant. Like Monticello was weird because it was like
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson's pet project. Highland wasn't there. And then Monticello was like the aristocratic home you would expect to find in a Virginian aristocratic home that you would expect to find. Long sweeping driveway, fields for miles, like.
Yeah, well, I will say too, they really like. I will say, again, I mean, the whole weekend was just so focused on slavery, like you can't really talk about it without it. I mean, I think they laid on about the treatment of the slaves the heaviest with the Madisons.
Yeah, when you went downstairs, you could go under the house, and it was like a whole exhibit about how Madison.
The theme here, which is an interesting theme that you don't really talk about often, was James Madison also died broke, and when he died, his wife had to pay off his debts. And she did so by
splitting up slave families,
slaves off.
And splitting up
splitting them up
down to Florida and
they're
Alabama,
sending them down the rivers where the phrase was termed, where the slavery was more in demand, unfortunately. And I think, and that was the heavy theme of this one was how sad it was of these slave families being broken up just because she had to sell them off to pay for her shithead husband's debts. And specifically the probably the saddest one was she sold like her head's, I don't know, what would you call it, like basically her nanny from the time who raised her, right?
Raised her or her children?
I think it was her.
And she took ownership of her when she came of age. That's crazy.
I think, and then she sold her, and that was like crazy. It'd be like selling your own mom down the river, up the river, down the river, whatever. You don't remember that? That was like the whole thing was, which is something you don't really think about. Then they had like an exhibit of how the slaves lived. It was kind of interesting. I don't remember the rest of it. There was a cool garden.
There was like a wooden shed they tried rebuilding using the same tools as the same tools that.
I don't remember.
Remember there was like that, like kind of looked like it was in Valley Forge. It was like the wooden.
Yeah.
And they had like nails.
I don't remember them trying to rebuild.
I think it was not an original structure. It was somewhat recent. There was a garden area.
Garden was DuPont's garden, but that was nice. Like an old school garden.
Madison was very
with like
short.
nice stone walls.
But then he was very short. Very tiny man.
Yeah. I feel like there was more to talk about, but thanks to Google, I don't have my notes. I don't know really what else to say.
Well, we went, I'm trying to think. We went in that visitor center.
They had that video that we were watching a little bit of. That was okay.
Yeah, that's where that's where they had that author talking about it. That had a cafeteria.
I guess like if
we missed his grave. Oh, that's we blew by his grave and we
didn't blow by his grave.
No
one knew how to get there.
Went too far.
No one knew how to get there. There was no signage on how to get to his grave. I remember that.
Go figure.
And I think that was it. I will say that like the reason that we don't have as much to talk about from the James Madison one is because it was probably the most straightforward experience. Good tour. The house was good.
You didn't touch anything. That's good.
None of it was original.
There were no candlesticks there. Man, that's crazy.
What?
Leaving their family with all those debts. I mean, to be fair, if that's the truth of their character, I mean, unless his family knew that was the skill, that's just what it meant to be a plantation owner or whatever. Like, you was just assumed you were going to have to take over the debts of your father.
I think that's what they were alluding to.
But it was just implied.
But that was like common.
That's just what people did.
Yeah.
Probably made for fractious relationships, I would think. Or if it was just, I don't know.
And I think, didn't they even say that like Monticello went into disrepair and that they like sold it for real cheap? Like he wasn't even taking care of it, or was his kid not taking care of it for Jefferson? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, I got to remember all these places we're seeing now. It's like they've had 100 years now, or at least 100 years, past 50 years, whatever. All this restoration money that's going in. I mean, I'm sure a lot of these places were fell to crap.
Yeah,
not Highlands though, because that one went up in smoke a long time ago.
Not much to take care of over there, that's for sure. But I guess that's it. I don't know. I think we talked for way longer than 20 minutes on it. Stuff really started to unlock when we started talking about it. I didn't think I was going to be able to get back into the feeling, but I think we got a pretty good description. I don't think we missed that much, actually.
Yeah, it was a fun trip. We got to figure out where we're going to go next.
Yeah. All right, fans. Thanks for listening in. Sorry about the Google mishap. Or, if you guys want to file a complaint to Google, make sure we get our email back. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we're living in 1984.
I don't think we did anything wrong.
Living in 1984, fans. We'll work with what we got.
I don't think we did anything to deserve it, but we might have. Full disclosure.
It'll be
interesting. If we did,
it'll be interesting to read whatever it is they come back with and why it is.
I hope they don't just say no. I hope if they say no, they explain what happened. Fun fact, they did not. And if so, I'm sorry, Google. If we
Please
do
don't
deserve it,
cancel
I'm sorry.
my
If
personal
we don't,
accounts until I get a local hard drive, and get all my information off.
thank you very much. Got anything to leave him with, John?
You gotta stay curious. See you guys.
And we say bye-bye. And we say bye-bye.